Welcome to the Diablo 3 podcast. We are online at diablowinggamers.com. This is part 2 of our show. I am joined tonight by Wolfpaq
Hello.
and by Mokai.
Hello.
In part 1, we just talked about some of the new sets and the new stuff going on the PTR for patch 2.20, and we covered a fair amount of the Wizard and the Barbarian sets. We're going to talk about some of the Demon Hunter now, and the Monk, and the Witch Doctor, and a little bit more Wizard, and probably not Crusader because no one cares about Crusader. Is that correct?
Sounds right.
Pretty much.
Do you care about Crusader? I don't care about Crusader. I think actually they didn't really change anything in the sets, but it's more fun to say no one cares about the Crusader. Just because then like Katniss will get pissed off.
I was reading that people were getting ridiculous crits with the shield bash change, but I don't have a Crusader set up for that, so I couldn't test it. Plus, I was more interested in Wizard.
It took you like 30 seconds to find it on the 2,000% drop rate too. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's having now admitted there is Crusader changes. We're not going to talk about them at all. Okay, so the last podcast we talked about Xanth had done a fair amount of Wizard stuff, and you guys have both done some Wizard stuff, and he liked the changes a lot to the Tal Rasha set, but was not very fond of the changes of the new Wizard set, which is Del Saray's Magnum Opus. You have tried some. This is your one area of expertise here, Wolfpaq, and then you can go back and feed your chinchillas rose hips.
All right.
So tell us how you tried the Wizard set. Do you like the new set, or do you like the changes to Tal's?
I have to agree with him. I was unimpressed. Like, I found all the things. I got the slow time wand, the slow time helmet, 5 of 6 of the set with Rorg, and a slow time just isn't. I mean, it's fun and useful in certain situations, but like, it's just not that powerful of a skill. Even with 1250 weapon damage a second, it's not that powerful of a skill. And I know that it's like, oh, projectiles are moving at a significantly slower rate, but that can actually be a detriment when suddenly your screen is filling up with all these things that can't hit you, but you can't move there, or you'll eat all of that damage you've just been postponing.
It's like a mid-air firewall.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know. I tried a couple different things. Even though the PTR like drop rate was super high, I wasn't able to like get perfectly set up. So I can't say I tried like a perfect frozen orb build or. But I mean, there was a lot of stuff I was happy with, but that specific set, I wasn't enjoying it. I was like Xanth, I was more impressed with the Tal Rasha changes. I found that ring that randomly picks picks elements in order and rotates them,
Yeah,
and then
the BlizzCon Elemental Ring.
yeah, BlizzCon Elemental Ring, and then I
was actually teasing Xanth if you could possibly synchronize those. Because it's like every 8 seconds the damage changes with your meteor on Tal's set, right?
yeah, so that's what I was.
And the BlizzCon ring is kind of but what if they were like one element off? It would never actually work then.
Oh well,
Like one was cold and one was fire, and the next one was poison, and the next one was lightning. You know, like it's never quite the same thing.
But you drop your meteors right away, right? As soon as you enter combat, as long as you're constantly dealing damage with a specific element.
I don't know. I only play Demon Hunters. I don't know other classes.
Well,
I don't understand wizards. They frighten me and confuse me.
It was what was I doing? So I had that. I had the boots, the increased meteor damage, which are pretty cool. It just outright doubles your meteor damage to start, and then when you hit 3 or less targets, it like quadruples the meteor damage. And so
obviously Jay Wilson designed those.
yeah, more.
What did he took the boots and what did he do with
doubled them? And then doubled twice.
Goddamn right he did.
So,
like a cheeseburger at Arby's.
Yeah, and so yeah, I mean that was really fun. So I had the Tal Rasha set, I had the BlizzCon Elemental Ring, I had the meteor boots, and I was just I found those bracers that make your what's it called, energy twister into a little like pulling everything together like into a miniature monk basically. So that was gathering everything up, and I used cold for that, and then I used the fire meteor. Oh, and they changed Tal Rasha's. It used to be that when you did fire damage, it dropped the meteor rain, but now it drops the big like hefty 15-second cooldown meteor. So
it's a meteor.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I was having a ton of fun just doing like random bursts of elemental damage. I was still using my 6-piece Firebirds because I think I was able to do that. Yeah, because
do you have an 18 slot wizard or what?
No, well, let's see.
You should have been able to do Firebirds and Tal Rashas.
Yeah, Firebirds, Tal Rasha's, and the boots. I'm pretty sure because belt amulet. Or amulet offhand for Tal Rasha's, and then the regular 5-piece and the boots, the meteor boots. And so yeah, it was whenever I did fire damage, it was still applying the dot, and because it was doing so much fire damage, because I was I had the active meteor and then the passive meteor. It was stacking up Firebirds all the way, like instantly as soon as the meteor landed, and yeah, I was having a ball. It was so different. Um, but then
It sounds a lot more fun than Delta Rays
yeah, and
anyway.
then I put on Delta Rays, and okay, I can fill the screen with slow times, but I mean 1250 a second isn't huge, and then I was stuck with like, what do I do? I was like energy twistering, and the energy twister as your primary source of damage just isn't great. And I tried frozen orb with the cold energy twister, and I don't know. I just wasn't able to get it to a point where I felt like I was, I was doing all this testing on tier 6 or T6 Torment 6. So yeah, I don't know. I just maybe our other guy had more luck than I did, but I wasn't able to make it work in such a way that I thought was fun.
But Firebirds uses the same slots as the new Magnum Opus set, right?
Yeah, you can't.
Yes.
So in theory, you could use that one with the Tal set as well.
That's true. You could do that, and maybe.
But it doesn't have the same synergy things.
Yeah, I'm not sure what damage type it is. The slow time. I didn't test that out.
Perhaps our other guest knows. Have you tried some Wizard Mocha?
Yes, I did some wizard, and
So what was Wolfpaq wrong about? Tell us all his mistakes.
no, I mean, I agree with everything he said. Delceres is
God damn it.
pretty. I mean,
Well, there goes the podcast, man. You're supposed to be fighting.
well, no.
It's like
I
Fox
will
News
want.
here.
I
Is
do
one of
want to
you a
add
liberal,
this
one
to
of you
it.
conservative, and you can argue stupidly?
No, I do
Sorry,
want to
go
add
ahead.
this to it though. Like, I think on a solo wizard, the Delceres is probably not. I mean, Firebirds, like it does so much more damage over time. But I think I haven't tried this in PTR yet. But I think the slow time situation and this set might be good synergy wise with like in the party.
Well, that's the thing with Firebird. It's notoriously horrible in parties.
Firebirds is horrible for parties, but I think slow time. I think this set will have its time in a party.
It'll have its slow time in a party.
Yes.
Well, like Wolfpack said, it's part of it is kind of like a miniature monk. I mean, you're CCing, you're crowd controlling everything, and you
Yep.
can pull stuff. I mean, that would certainly be useful. I can imagine like a demon hunter. I mean, like Black Hole is awesome if you're playing with a demon hunter or a witch doctor or something.
Yep.
Because it just pulls all the stuff in, or the witch doctor with the piranado thing.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if you're a demon hunter or something, and they're just putting all this stuff in this little ball, it's like, hey, nuke time, pinata.
Exactly. Like the problem I was having with
As opposed to
Delceres-
Firebirds, which is just horrible. You're just running everywhere, and there's like half dead monsters on fire across the
Yep.
entire screen. And you're like, I hate this. I want you to die.
Yeah, definitely. This set, I can see the crowd control aspect of it, and that was the problem I was having too. Was the ranged attacks and the missiles and stuff, and like there was one point in time where just my whole screen lagged out because there was so much on the screen, and I mean I ended up dying a horrible death, but that's what happens.
That's what you put the T in the PTR, dude.
Exactly. So
Well, speaking of dying horrible deaths and screen being lagged, that's my biggest problem in the PTR. I've had just horrible machine lag. I mean, I cannot play. It's not bad if I'm by myself in an area or playing solo, but of course you can't play solo because it's got a 3-hour queue to make a game.
yep.
Although Xanth was saying in the last podcast, it's only about a 10-minute wait on hardcore. Apparently softcore is where the tremendous waits are.
Softcore seasons is not that long. Softcore seasons.
I was getting 3 hours. I have yet to create a game in softcore seasons on the PTR. I mean, it's 3
Really?
hours and it just stays 3 hours forever. I've only been able to join games with friends of mine playing.
Yeah, it was.
But when I'm on a screen with other people, it's like -2 FPS. I mean, it's a slideshow. It's absolute slow motion. I can't. So that's really affected my testing because you can't play anything that requires like precision and timing.
I was having that same problem solo. I made a solo game. Somehow I made a solo game. It was hardcore non-season, and I got in like 2 minutes. And so I was like, oh well, I'll just make a million riffs. But yeah, random environments were just it was a slideshow, quite literally.
Yeah, so I was actually doing builds. Like I was doing when I was first using Natalya's, I was using it with Strafe. Partially because you just hold down the right click and spin around with Strafe, and it shoots things for you. Like I literally couldn't play a build where I had to like time stuff and aim things and use smoke screen effectively. I can't do this. I can't do this at 1 frame per second. So that does make a difference in the testing, and hopefully they'll get that. No one seems to be quite sure what the problem is, if it has to do with their new file systems or whatever, with the whole changeover from MPQs. But there's been lots of blue posts about it, so in theory they're working on it.
Yeah, they have to.
But
fix
let's think about happy thoughts instead. We got our checks this week in the mail from Blizzard. So we should only talk about good things in the game. You got your check, right, Wolfpaq?
Not yet.
They just paid you in rose hips this
I'm
time.
waiting.
Yeah, me too. Well, you got your Reaper of Souls launch party invitation 2.5 years ago, so you're still coasting on that.
Right on.
That free beer and valet parking in Hollywood. So
Wait, wait,
Mocha
wait,
got
wait,
nothing.
wait. You got valet? What?
No, we got the last spot in the parking lot. It was hell. You should park like 5 miles away.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's where we're digressing wildly. So, what other classes have you played on the PTR, Mocha? I've done lots of Demon Hunter and a little bit of Monk, and we want to cover. You said you've done some Monk, I believe.
Yes, I've done some monk, wizard, witch doctor, and demon hunter.
Okay, so let's get to the Monk or Witch Doctor. Your pick.
Let's do.
You're pretty much doing the talking here, so give us the highlights. What's changed and what's cool or what's not cool?
Okay, I'm gonna go witch doctor because that's my main. I like. Okay, so let's backtrack. I like the fact that they've added this all the sets. They've made them 6 pieces, which was
Yeah,
what we
you
were
don't
talking
have a
about.
new Witch Doctor set, by the way. The only new sets are Barb and DH and
Yes,
the other
but
wizard.
they
So Witch Doctor, you're just looking. I was looking at this huge blue thread about the problems with Zunis now. And like
Zunis.
it seems like it's a total mess.
It's
The
such
best
a
pants
mess.
are not in the set, and everything overlaps, and it's much worse than using Tasker and
Yeah,
Theo.
yeah. Well, the problem with Zunis is the problem with witch doctors in general is I don't know why Blizzard likes to do this, but every set that they have, they've incorporated a helm. And every build that you do for the witch doctor requires a specific voodoo mask or helm, right? With the Ticlandian and the
Mask of Jerem.
the
Yeah.
Mask of Jerem and the Quetzalcoatl and stuff like that. And so when you have a 6 piece set, for example, your Jade set, you automatically have to rule out the Jade Helm, which means you're pigeonholed into using the other 5 pieces. And that's what they've done with the Zunis as well.
And a Rourke, of course.
Yeah, in the work. That's what they've done with the Zunis as well, and that's why it's created all this blue post thread stuff because of the fact that they added, I think, they added the gloves. They added gloves, and
Which, of course, is the other essential Witch Doctor slot because you have to have Tasker and Theo if you're going to
taskers.
do pets.
Exactly. So either you give up Mascajarum and keep taskers, or you give up taskers and keep Mascajarum. But the
Or
problem,
you give up neither and don't use Zunis. That's
or
what it
or
works
just yeah, keep both and don't use Zunis. Because the thing is with Zunis, the 6 piece set, it's like every time you spend spend mana or something, it um, that mob takes 100% more damage from your pets for 4 seconds, but that is already covered with Mascajarum if you have
It
100%.
does the same thing, but that's like full
It's
time,
full
right?
time.
So
You don't even have to worry about it. And so it just it doesn't make sense to me, and it kind of makes me mad because why are there voodoo mask and helms for every single like witch doctor set? So I don't know. And then
perhaps they may think you're an ogre and you can wear 2 helms.
I guess we should be able to, but that and they added a Zuni pants, but it's not part of the set, and it's surprisingly I haven't found that yet on PTR, so I don't even know what it does, and I don't remember reading about it. But that I don't know. I think what they need to do is either add.
Would you like to know?
Sure.
Zuni's pants are called Cloth of Transcendence, and the special property summons a fetish sycophant whenever you hit a mana spender.
Oh,
So basically, they give you infinite fetish
that's right.
sycophants.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, because they changed
Or
the
as some of
proc.
our guests on the
They changed the
sometimes
proc
people on
rate.
the show, people sometimes say fetish psychopants, which I like
Psycho
better
pants.
because these actually are the fetish psychopants.
Yes, they are. Uh, yeah, because they changed the proc rate of Reign of Toads, so those might be good, but it's yeah, there's just so much to choose from with the Witch Doctor that it's nice, but it's not at the same time because of how the sets have been made for them. And
And the Helltooth set is still totally useless, right? They didn't even that's not even been buffed in the patch,
no, I mean it hasn't been buffed since the last time it was buffed. But
and no one uses it. I mean, people that's just regarded as pretty much useless,
yeah,
right?
so
Does it have a helm though?
what's up?
Does that set have a helm in it?
Which one?
The one that's useless.
Oh, Helltooth?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So
Yes.
that at least that keeps consistent
It's
of them having a helm in
exactly.
every
There's a
set.
helm in every set, and so it's iffy. but I just wish they would add more pieces and give it more flexibility. Just like with the wizard, Firebirds has 7 pieces, so you kind of have some workaround, like room to work with
Yeah.
for that one. But yeah, so I'm not happy with the Zuni changes. I
Do
have
you have any?
I want to test out the tall man's finger and the little man's finger just to see 3 little ogres running around or gargantuans running around.
Of course, unless you have 5 arms, it's going to be tough because you've already got all these other. That's the other problem with the set. You're having to give up Unity, and Unity apparently is mandatory if you go to a higher GR with a Witch Doctor,
Yeah.
or pretty much any class at this point.
Yep.
And now they have all these cool rings. It's like, well, now what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. And I don't know. The problem with the Zunis is we still lack a lot of area damage. Yeah, area damage. Single target, we're amazing, but for AOE stuff, it's kind of hard because you can't control your fetishes. You can kind of control them, but not really.
Yeah, I can't control mine either. But
So,
keep me out of those leather stores downtown. Let me tell you.
oh my.
So the common complaint I've seen, people have said that some items should add AOE damage to fetishes. Make them give them smite or give them multi-shot or something like that. Give the dart ones multi-shot, something like that. Would that help, you think?
I think so. I think that'd be kind of cool to see.
Okay. Have you ever played a Witch Doctor, other person, Wolfpaq, and do you have any comment?
Yeah, actually, I've had a level 70 Witch Doctor every season. I just haven't spent a lot of time getting them geared. But I mean, I totally understand what he was saying with the mask. I mean, because those voodoo masks are so powerful, the unique ones, and so
They're
having
build
this
changing.
set, yeah, exactly, and so having the set like also require a helm, it doesn't make any sense. They should just leave that slot out of the Witch Doctor sets, in my opinion.
Or put some other good powers. I guess if you put all the super powerful things on the helm, then you can only choose one.
Or yeah, maybe find
Or if,
another
if you have
slot.
to run chest or something, it would give you too much power, maybe.
Yeah, and then the
Okay, moving on. Any final Witch Doctor thoughts, Mokai? Do you want to wrap it up with anything, or should we go on to the monk?
No, I mean, I just don't understand why they can't add some set belts or some set amulets to them. Like the Zunis is pretty well crafted in terms of having a mojo and a ring, but none of the other sets have that. And I guess,
And they added a 6 piece to it in this patch, right?
yeah, they added the gloves.
Yeah, that's right. You said that.
Yeah.
Of course, that conflicts with Tasker and Theo. So,
And it's
and
just it's just I mean, I guess witch doctors
so
don't wear
what should they have
belts.
added? What would be a better slot to add it to? Bracers or boots or something? Okay, Zuni already has
Zuni
boots,
has
but
boots, but belts. I mean, there's like Tal Rasha's you've got a belt, IK's you've got a belt, and belts. I mean, they are really not. There's not many options for belts.
so you would switch from gloves, the new Zunis, to belt maybe, or maybe even bracers.
Maybe,
Bracer isn't too crowded.
maybe, but
We need
that's
more slots, obviously.
yeah. Need more
yeah,
slots exactly.
2 sets of pants.
Yeah. Speaking of fetishes. So moving along, so Monk has got a no new set. Sunwuko is still feels like it's pretty new because they made a bunch of changes to that in the last patch, and people are still really happy with the 4 piece Sunwukus.
Yep.
But they made buffs to the 1,000 Storm set, which has been useless forever. Have you tried that one out? And is it improved?
I have not tried that one out because I'm having way too much with Innas and some Bukos right now.
Yeah, India's is fantastic now. Apparently, people are really
Yes.
happy with that.
Yes.
And you can wear Indias and Sunwukos together because they're both 4 pieces. They're good bonuses. Of course, they added more Indias too now. So can you do the 6 and the 4 together?
Yes, you can. Actually, Sunwuko is a 6 piece now too, but last time I was on PTR, the 6 piece was still blanked out. Like there was nothing there. So
Yeah, the highest level. It's like adds power X YY 7443 or something
yeah,
like
I
that.
think it's still pending, but they added boots to the Inna set, and I've been running with the Daibo, and so it's pretty cool just watching.
We're using Inya's Daibo, you are?
Yes, 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 yes.
But then how do you cast 5,000 waves of light?
It was pretty amazing. It was nice watching because I was wearing Crutus boots as well, and so I had 2 allies, and every time I threw down, a wave of light, they would too, and it was pretty cool. It was nice to see a little more synergy between those items.
Yeah, so basically the crudest boots are the ones that make
Double your ally.
allies cast the same. So basically they give you mobile sentries essentially.
Pretty much.
They give you mobile M6 sentries.
Yep. And the one thing I noticed about it that I was super excited about was I noticed that when I casted, when I EP'd mobs, my allies would EP them too, or EP whatever
So you
they
have
were.
exploding palms everywhere.
Yeah, it was great.
So that sounds wildly overpowered. So it's basically I'd say like tripling your damage. Do they do the same damage as you when they do it, or what?
No, they're a little weaker. Just it kind of takes away like it takes the idea of the sentries with the demon hunters, and puts it into the allies. They do damage. They cast. There's a list of attacks that they do that when you do it, just like the demon hunter with marauders, but they're a little weaker, just like how sentries are now. But it's kind of cool to see 3 pillars go off at the same time and stuff like that. And I mean, that with Sunwukos worked out pretty well. And they did add 2 pieces of Sunwukos, I think boots and pants, I believe. So I'm excited to see what the 6th piece is for that, because I have yet to see that.
When it's enabled. Obviously, it's still early in the PTR. So
Yeah.
Any monk thoughts, Wolfpaq?
Is that the set that makes your generators do like 500% more damage? You were saying it's unimpressive?
Yeah, the thousand storms one, the 6 power is something to do. If only I had a website I could look at these informations on. I typed this up earlier. It's something to do with dashing strike. It's like a 5,000% damage burst after dashing strike.
So I see.
But it also refunds the cost of dashing strike, or it makes it cost, instead of a cooldown, it takes spirit for it or something like that. So you can use a lot of them if you have. Basically, you can use spirit or cooldown, either one, and then it adds a big damage bust. It'll probably all be changed next week anyway, so it's all irrelevant.
Gotcha.
But it didn't seem like it was really game changing. It was just sort of use dashing strike to get a giant damage buff once in a while. It wasn't like it would really change how you played or anything. So
Well, it also, the 2-piece increased the spirit generators by 500%, but
well, that would probably help.
that really doesn't do much. 500.
Well, what if you have a focus and a restraint as well, though?
Maybe.
You're full. So
Well,
we can get to those in a second, because those are some interesting powers now.
They hotfixed it, right? Because originally it went live and people found it was additive with skill damage and more importantly with depth diggers pants, which makes
They're
it
doing like a billion crits.
useless. But then they changed it to be multiplicative, which suddenly stacking them with the gem and with depth diggers and with skill damage made a huge difference. And yeah, people were getting pretty monstrous crits. From what I watched a couple of YouTube videos and it looked pretty exciting.
Well, if it was on YouTube, it must be true.
That's right.
Just like internet radio. No, never a lie here.
Yep, not on the podcast.
Said Jay Wilson. No. So any other monk thoughts there, Mokai?
Not really. I still feel like Raiment set, the lightning set needs some reworking still. It just doesn't.
You didn't even use it, man. How do you know? Maybe it's amazing.
It doesn't
Maybe
look
it's like
amazing.
life changing.
Okay. Sure.
Probably not. No, it didn't look real impressive to me. I have it sitting on my monk. I haven't even used it yet. So obviously, but as you said, you can use Inyas and Sunwukos together, and they're just awesome. So
Yeah.
even though Sunwukos is still not even have its final property,
Yeah, even the 4-piece.
hasn't even found its final form yet, and it's still powerful. So I guess Demon Hunter we should get to now. This is the one class that I can actually do other than make stupid jokes while you talk. So what have you tried out with your Demon Hunter? Have you tried all 3 of the new sets, or the one new set and the 2 change sets, or what have you been doing there?
I've tried a bit of Nats, and I have not tried the new set yet. But
Get off the podcast.
You go first. You since you're Mr. Demon Hunter over here.
Yeah, Mrs. Demon Hunter, please. There are no male Demon
I'm
Hunters.
sorry.
They run funny too.
Yeah, they got this little hunch thing going on. I don't know.
Yeah, the male Demon Hunters, their legs are a little too long for their bodies. I'm not sure what's going on there. They're like basketball players. So the Demon Hunter has Natalya's set has a big buff. That got the old 5-piece up to 6-piece thing, and they added pants to make that set. And that one gives you some interesting gearing options because it has a weapon and a ring in it. And of course, the current set is Marauders. It's the Marauder 6-piece set that everyone uses on the live realms. And the new set, which I don't even know the name of, I typed it about 50 times earlier and I've already forgotten. It buffs. I just call it the Multishot set, right? It uses
the Unhallowed
the same
Essence.
Yeah, there you go. Unhallowed Essence. That sounds like a Demon Hunter set, kind of. Or possibly a drink that Marilyn Manson would pour you. So that one has the same 6 slots as Marauders, and it adds really fast. It's got a big defensive property on 2-piece, I believe, or is it the 4-piece? One of the 2 or the 4. And then one of the other ones adds discipline every time you use a spender, and then the 6-piece bonus gives you a 10% damage to your multi-shot and to all your hatred generators per point of discipline. So it's really ideal to use with at least 2 pieces of Natalya's. So you get that 3-piece Natalya's bonus with a Rorg, and that gives you plus 10 discipline twice, which is 200% damage bonus. So that's a huge buff. So I was using that one initially, and I had a 5-piece Natalia for the 6-piece bonus, and I still had on 2 Marauders. I had a Marauders, I don't know, shoulders and something, just to keep the pet bonus, because the 2-piece Marauders set gives you all 4 of the familiars or the companions, which is awesome. And then pretty soon you use the new set, and you have no more companions.
Yeah.
You have to pick up your own gold.
You know,
I was like, oh my god, am I a crusader? I gotta pick up gold like a freaking dirty animal. Where are my ferret bros? So that was a little troubling. You lose your ferret bros, you have to pick up your own gold, and of course you also lose the bat and the boar and the wolf. So those are well, you still have one of them, whatever your familiar skill is. But I just got used to always having that extra mana regeneration from the not mana, hatred from the bats. And the spiders, of course, spooging on things once every 10 minutes, which makes no difference whatsoever, but it looks kind of gross. But so the cool thing with Marauders, with the Natalias, is that it gives you this. I was confusing Natalias with a new set. Natalias gives you a Rain of Vengeance buff now, and the 6-piece bonus of that is 800% damage to Rain of Vengeance. And there's another bonus on it that gives you uptime, and it cuts the cooldown time every time you use one of your hatred generators or spenders, I believe it is.
Yep.
I was using that with Strafe, and it was essentially I could cast a new Rain of Vengeance about every 4 seconds. So I had well more than 100% uptime. And it's just sort of full screen hitting everything for gigantic damage. I was doing with very little bonuses to it. I was getting 80 million crits nonstop from Rain of Vengeance on every single thing on the screen full time.
Oh my gosh.
So it kind of added up. The one I was using was physical, which is it's hard to aim it because you're doing it so often and it's kind of chaotic. And I was having real bad resource.
So what you're saying is this new Natalya set has turned Demon Hunters into the next Firebird set.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not DOT. It's just constantly hitting stuff. But the physical one,
oh my gosh, it's gonna.
There's a bunch of different forms of Rain of Vengeance. Yeah, but it was. I mean, I think I had like 2 items buffing it, so it was far from like min max to perfection.
Yeah. But
I would just nonstop do that, and then I was just using Strafe because I was playing it. I've had the problem on the PTR where I have absolutely horrible frame rate and machine performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting like 1 frame per second, so I literally can't play a build that requires me to aim things precisely. So I was using Strafe just kind of for fun, and Strafe I had the physical form, and the physical form of the Rain of Vengeance was the one that covered everything on the screen with these dots and just perpetual arrows of doom. Everything dies. So I have no idea how much damage I was actually doing with that on the whole, but it was absolutely massacring things. I was able to solo in a T6 game with 3 people. The other 2 were off somewhere else, and I was just having zero problem just strafing through and killing everything with the Rain of Vengeance. Of course, T6 isn't that high really, but who could say? But it worked pretty well for that. But it was fun.
Yeah.
The new set, which you didn't get to try out, which is Unhallowed Essence, which I just completely mangled the description a minute ago. That's the one that gives you the damage buffs with Multishot or your spenders. And basically, you just use Multishot, and it gives you huge damage to Multishot as long as your discipline is full. Which is great if you're playing solo, and you gain discipline back a lot as you use your spenders. So basically, you always have full discipline, and you have like 70 discipline to begin with. I had it on my weapon and my quiver and 2 pieces of Natalya's. I think I had 72. So it's always full. You can vault all you want pretty much if you just stop occasionally to shoot some, and you're always full. You're doing gigantic damage. But it's sort of the weird part of it was I didn't know what to do with myself in between because I'm so used to Marauders where you're like constantly kind of managing your sentries.
Yeah.
When you have this, I don't know how to play anymore. It's like Diablo 3 vanilla returning. You're just running around and you just shoot stuff. I'm like, why am I not casting a sentry every 8 seconds? What am I? It's like if you're used to driving a stick shift and then you switch to automatic at some point, and like your right hand is kind of moving all the time, and your left foot's moving, and they have nothing to do. And you're like, I need more controls, I need more buttons to push here. So I mean, obviously, I'm sure there's ways it'd pay off for itself with the huge damage boost, but I actually felt kind of bored with it, just playing solo a little bit. Because I didn't have anything else to do. I just run around and shoot things and they would die. I'm like, but I need to do other stuff here. So I'm sure people will find builds to find some other ways to do other things in the middle of it. Maybe even just Rain of Vengeance or something, just to give you something else to sort of fill the time with. Because it felt like it had kind of a lot of dead time to me playing it at this point. So what was your Demon Hunter experience, Mokai?
I used Nat set and I enjoyed it. but like you said, it was very laggy and couldn't really tell what was going on. But it was nice to see something else besides the M6. Will
Yeah.
it be as good as the M6? I don't know. But it was nice to see them kind of focus more. Well, because if you pair that with the new gloves that they have, like while Reign of Vengeance is active, I think you take a percent amount of reduced
It's like
damage.
50% less damage, yeah.
And so it's nice to
Reign of
see.
Vengeance, Reign of Vengeance is 100% uptime, so that's just basically forever. It's like you have a full-time Unity, pretty
Yeah,
much.
and
Sorry, a full-time double Unity is what you have.
it I like the direction they're taking in terms of making a new set that's still pretty good damage wise. And this is all T6. I haven't taken any of this into greater risk. This is T6, and it's nice to see not a demon hunter not using marauders to do stuff, and it's nice to see that there's other set or other um wow, I just blanked out. Um, other legendary items that kind of synergize with that too. I'm liking all the synergy that they're doing. I don't know if it's going to replace Marauders though, honestly. And I haven't tried the Unhallowed Essence, but I still just based off of reading all that, I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, the other item that pairs very well with it is the new version of the Dead Man's Legacy Quiver, which makes enemies that are below like 40% hit points take double hits from Multishot. So it's kind of like the opposite of ambush, which does extra damage for enemies above a certain amount of hit points. I believe that's 75% above.
75%, yep.
Yeah, so if you have the multi-shot one, as soon as they're below, like I think it's 40 to 50% is the range on it. I think the one I was using was like 47%. Everything just vanishes. Like they're like the low end gets really crazy. So like you're two-shotting everything, but the second hit is doubling and they just sort of vanish. So once they get low, they really are cleaned off quickly, which is kind of an interesting way to do it as opposed to having me on the top. I guess the benefit of that is people use ambush to get one shots on things because it's a big damage buff to things that are full or up to above 75%.
Yeah.
And if you're, say they have 60 million hit points and you're doing a 40 million crit, they all die. Or you do 50 million crit, they all die because of the one shot gets us a buff. And this is sort of the opposite of that, where you don't get one shots and everything, but it really makes them vanish quickly. But I mean, obviously that's adding huge damage. If they're below half hit points, they're getting double damage from your multi-shot basically. But it is kind of weird the set only uses multi-shot and spinders is what it buffs. I mean, sorry, and generators. And what I was noticing without even really trying, I was using evasive fire, just sort of the basic, whatever the one that gives you 7 mana or 7 hatred per use. I was
Yes.
doing 50 to 60 million crits with that, with all 3 shots,
Wow.
just because I had 72 discipline and that was adding, 720% damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had nothing boosting evasive fire. I mean, normally you can put that on I think shoulders and belts you can add damage to that from.
Pants.
Pants.
Yeah, and I forget which 2 slots it is, but I mean, I had none of that. I had none of that on there, and I didn't think I had the same element, and it was just so I could easily imagine that, maybe even with like focus and restraint,
Yeah, I
which
was
is a gigantic buff now if you have full hatred, full resource.
I was reading that people were theorizing about a build focusing on hungering arrow for single targets because you have that devouring arrow, right, which gives the piercing a 70% damage increase, and
Yeah,
then you can get the gem and the depth diggers and this new set, which is what, something like 800% damage increase, and a Burza, which gives it a guaranteed pierce twice, and then the quiver that adds another like 30 or 20% chance for it to pierce, and
yeah.
and just have a monster single target damage capability with something that can be spammed, and then right, no resource required, and then yeah, add a focus and a restraint so that when you do decide to multi-shot, things melt with that extra 50% damage. But I don't know. I thought that was interesting when I was reading that because that is a really powerful generator against single targets, which is an important damage type for part of the game at least.
It might be good in a
Yeah,
party if you
Yeah,
have,
and currently
you know,
demon hunters are good against multi-targets because marauders you get so many sentries out.
yeah.
But of course you don't have sentries in this build, so that's almost an opposite thing. Instead of being good at multi-target because you have 5 sentries, you're good at multi-target because you have one skill that does huge damage. Finally, a single target skill in Diablo 3.
But if you think about the synergy in a group, if you have 2 demon hunters and a fear doc, as well as a crusader or whatever the fourth one is, you can have one demon hunter just all marauders and have them focus on multi-target damage, and then you can have this new build and have them focus on the Rift Guardian when they come up.
Yeah.
And so I can see the synergy with it, but I still don't know if it's going to be able to replace Marauders.
Well, it's a different play style, at least, which is kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus.
I mean, that's the thing we were talking about the last podcast on the Wizard set. I mean, like maybe the Delcerays Magnum Opus isn't the best thing in the world, but Firebirds is so everything at once DOT and running around crazily. Whereas the new one is, as you guys were saying, it's slow time and it's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's a very different play style. You're kind of moving in. You move up. It's almost like a demon hunter with a marauders kind of thing. You move up, you do a bunch of sentries, you kill things there, then you move on to the next pack. As opposed to Firebirds is kind of this endlessly flowing thing. So maybe the same thing here with Demon Hunter, where you're just giving different options and different play styles, and you can pair them up and do some interesting stuff together.
Yeah.
Of course, the problem in Diablo 3 is people always look at, well, this one is 1.7% lower damage, therefore no one's going to play it.
Pretty much.
Because it's not cookie cutter and only noobs will play it, and you guys suck. So there is that.
But there's always going to be that, though. Regardless of what they do and how many sets they come out, it's gonna bottleneck and funnel into what the quote unquote best set / build is, right?
Yeah. Fortunately, that only matters if you're like trying to push super high greater rifts.
Yeah.
You meant that 40 I did today? Yeah, that was pretty much what it was like. Yeah, super high. So the thing, I think almost that could tie in with the whole Blizzard has been refusing to add higher levels of torment, even though most of us think they probably should.
I think they need to.
And maybe kind of the point with that is that if you keep T6, which is only equivalent to Greater Rift 25, then you can do you have your Delcerays build or whatever. Maybe you can build a Cleritor that's really good for just doing T6, and you're not going to get above GR 33 or 35 or whatever. But you can have really good fun on T6 and have an interesting play style. And you don't have to be, okay, the other build can go to GR 44, but it's not really any better for T6. And maybe if T6 is the highest it goes, then people will kind of normalize that a little bit and say, well, this build is good for T6, and I enjoy T6, and I have another class to go for really high greater rifts. It's not always about trying to get to GR 40 like awesome people do. Unlike Wolfpaq. You never got in there, have you, Wolfpaq?
Nope.
Nope. Goddamn chinchilla wrangler, and you never will either. Sorry, go ahead, Mokai.
Oh, I was just going to say, that is a good point that you have. It just... I think with that, though, you're going to also have that funnel. You're going to have the people who are going to say, well, Firebirds isn't the best build for T6 runs. This build is. And so I think even when you set that precedence where, okay, T6 is the highest difficulty you can do outside of Greater Rifts, people are going to find still the most efficient way to do that as well.
True, but I mean, it is...
But it does open up
like
more
have
options.
some variety and stuff.
It does open up more options and variety, and so I agree. I agree with that.
I mean, I was doing T6 split farming a couple days ago with a guy who was playing a monk, and I was playing my demon hunter, and I'm sure his highest greater rift was probably like 30, 32 or 34 or something with this monk, whereas I had done 40. But he was actually better than me at T6 because demon hunter, you kind of need to go. You can't just dash through stuff effectively with the M6 build that much because you're so dependent on resource.
Yep.
And you kind of need to clear a big pack and then get the orbs and refill yourself. If you just dash in the middle of stuff and you don't have full resource, you're just helpless. You can't do anything really.
Yep. Until
you kill stuff and get resource. And so it's not that great a build to go dashing around running through stuff on T6. I guess you can vault and stuff, but I mean in hardcore I almost died just split farming on T6. I got caught in some waller thing with Frozens, and I couldn't get past the walls, and I was out of resource because I was.
Didn't you have some Kool-Aid on you? Jeez.
I actually have that. Yeah. The funny thing, but I'd recently used it. The funny thing with that stupid potion, occasionally I'll use that. You can't use it if you're full.
Right.
No.
You can't drink a potion if you have full health.
Nope.
I've actually been stuck in walls and wanted to get through them and couldn't drink the goddamn potion because I was full health. It's like, can I bite my finger and then drink this? Obviously, the wall goes away in a few seconds, but I've had a few times where I actually was trapped with like dangerous things coming. You're trapped in like 5 moltens and you can't move because you don't have any health yet. It's like, god damn it.
Yeah,
It kind of makes it
actually,
amusing that way.
on this topic, I was going to say I was watching a video. I think it was today or yesterday that got put on Reddit. Some guy made a Demon Hunter build specifically for farming T6 because being able to clear T6 rifts really quickly is a valuable asset, and he was averaging 2 minutes on solo clears of a full clear, or not full clear, just start rifts, regular rift start to boss kill, 2 minutes, and it was pretty much just fire, multi-shot, and vault cinder with a bunch of like movement speed tweaks to the generic one, and I thought it was
That was my last PTR Demon Hunter, basically.
yeah. I mean,
I was doing him in 3 minutes.
I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, he was literally was just vault, vault, multi-shot, multi-shot, vault, vault, drop a sentry, multi-shot, multi-shot, and everything was just melting because you don't need crazy gear to clear T, or you don't need super high damage modifiers to your skills to clear T6, and I think that's a good thing. I like that design
And
decision.
I think that's one of the reasons why, what Flux is saying with his Demon Hunter wasn't clearing as fast is because you were overkilling. You were doing
Right.
so much burst damage that it doesn't matter because the monsters are dead.
And you can't burst that often because you have so much resource.
Exactly.
Thing,
Whereas
so.
multi-shot, I do that too. Multi-shot, and I use Danetta's when I do
It's like
T6.
half the hatred cost, right?
Yeah, it's half the Hater Crossed, and it does the job, especially with when you have your sentries out. And Danetta's, I mean, pretty much perma-vault. So,
Yeah, I haven't found the Netus in ancient form, so I haven't been bothering to try that. But I remember using that back in the day. I mean, that was the amazing thing back when it was about split farming on normal. Where all it mattered was movement
all that
speed,
matters is yeah.
and just the Netus you could just perma vault,
Yep.
or even if you just put vault with tactical advantage and you run for half a second after each vault at super high speeds. But and of course now we have so many movement speeds. I mean, I'm so addicted to Chrome's belt. I can't stop using it.
I actually had that on a character one time recently. Well, when I was leveling my monk up for seasons, I found a Crown's belt and I was wearing that, and I guess I got used to the movements because when I replaced it, like I was just bitching for like an hour. Like, why the hell am I moving so slow?
Yeah, it's tough to switch.
It's hard to lose that extra movements because you get accustomed to how fast you're able to move,
Yeah, it
and
doubles your base basically.
yeah, and then you lose it. You're just like, well, I can't dash fast enough, and I can, it's so
Yeah, I have to use a witching hour when I go for really high GRs, and it's like I feel so slow, like I'm running in mud. Like I'm always checking the Paragon points. Like, did I screw up my Paragon points? Did I take some out of movement speed here?
yeah,
Why am I so slow? It's like no, I'm just not using the belt. And of course, Chrome's belt is fantastic with Pride's Fall Helm because they're both the same thing. Where if you don't get, they only work if you don't get hit.
yep,
So you're trying not to get hit anyway because of your helm for your resource regeneration.
yep.
Anyway, so no one's played any Crusader, and they didn't change that much, and we don't care. Any thought? You played a little bit of Demon Hunter lately, Wolfpaq. Are you looking forward to getting into the new stuff on the PTR? Are you happy with the Marauders set?
I never had M6 before it got changed, so I really enjoy playing with Marauders right now. But I'm excited that Reign of Vengeance may see a comeback because that's a pretty cool skill that no one ever uses for almost anything.
I
So
remember using it a lot in vanilla.
It's nice to tag. I mean, you can just kind of use it while you're doing other stuff. I love
Yeah,
using it while I level up. I mean, Shade is especially nice. You just sort of
yeah,
drop Shade on the first.
that's true.
And when you're leveling, what's really useful is the ambush one. If you're doing something that has knockback, like if you have like strong arm bracers and like double twin chakram
Uh-huh.
and the stampede one,
Yeah,
where every time you get a boss, you just pop that and it knocks them all back, and you're getting massive damage buff because they're knocked back, and then you have a skill that just sort of fills the screen with death. But then you get to 70, and just Marauders is so much better.
yeah.
So we got to wrap this, guys. Any final thoughts, Wolfpack? We've mostly been talking and letting you listen because you didn't play these other classes. You've been busy with the Crusader, I think. So
No, I haven't.
what are you doing in the next? Are you going to keep PTRing? Are you going back? Does season 2 feel pointless now? You just want season 3 to start, or what?
No, I think I'm done with the PTR. I tested the new Barb set. I tested the new Wizard set. I'm happy. I really honestly the 2,000% Magic Find or Legendary drop rate boost is threatening to ruin my enjoyment of live. So I'm not. I'm gonna stay away.
It's just too much crack.
Yeah, I mean it's every chest, every elite is a legendary, and that is kind of crazy, and so I don't want to get
It kind of
too
makes them
used
feel
to.
meaningless, though. You know,
Yeah,
like you don't even bother to pick them up anymore. Like there's no specialness anymore.
yeah, and it's kind of dumb too that you can see which legendary it is with sometimes without even picking it up or just holding control and mousing over it. You can see what it's going to be, and so I wish
Just leave it
it
there.
makes me wish that legendaries were a little more uh, wrapped, so to speak. So that I didn't immediately mouse over and say, "Oh, not even worth picking up, not even worth identifying." Like if all unidentified legendary bows looked exactly the same.
Yeah, I've heard that suggestion recently because of the 2000 thing.
Yeah,
Like, it'd be more fun if you didn't know. Of course, maybe because you don't know if they're ancients or not. But even then, a lot
eh,
of stuff's crap even for the ancient.
yeah, and a lot of stuff's useful even if it's not ancient. So I would just really like to not like hope I have a chance at getting a Kreider before I see that I just got the bolo shots, pull your targets in or whatever.
Well, the 2000 thing is not going to last forever in theory. I mean, the last PTR was up for a couple of weeks and they quit.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, if you want to, if you're gonna, what I did with someone the other day is I was playing a demon hunter, he was playing a wizard, and we just dropped all of the gear for each other. So I dropped him every Natalias and Marauders and the new set Unhallowed Essences, and he dropped me all the wizard sets. Just because you find so many. I mean, if it wasn't an upgrade, there's no point in keeping it, right? You're just gonna throw it away.
Yeah,
So just while playing with him, I got the entire six piece of the new wizard set, and I think all of Tal's as well. I haven't even used them yet, but so what you can do is get in a party game with someone in the clan or whatever, and of a different class, and you can just get all the gear. And then once the 2000% thing goes away, if you want to test it in a month or whatever, you have the stuff. So
that's a good point. Maybe you have to check
if,
that
yeah,
out.
if you're gonna stock up on the gear, do it now, because it's not gonna last forever, right?
Right.
So any final thoughts for you, Mokai?
I would just
What,
like
what
to.
is your PTR plan going forward?
I'm done playing PTR. I did it for a little bit, but
Just for the podcast, right?
well, that and just because it's new, but I don't like the idea of doing all this and finding everything and then not having it
Yeah,
be
it sort
be
of defeats
permanent.
Diablo's purpose.
Yeah, and
It doesn't feel real, so it's going away. So
exactly. And I also like all the QOL changes that they did. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like.
what do you
Junkrat.
guys think of the purple orbs and regular rifts?
I don't know if I like that because it's making regular risk more like greater risk without actually boosting the difficulty.
It makes things even faster, yeah.
It makes them even faster, which is cool, but they're fast enough already. And if we're going with what you had said earlier with them, keeping T6 the way it is because it opens up a new form of gameplay, I don't think they should make it even more similar to Greater Rifts.
Maybe they should only drop one. I mean, it's fast enough already,
Yeah,
right? Do you need three orbs every single one of them?
I think you do.
I mean,
think
you
it's
get
three.
three, but do you need three?
Oh,
It just seems.
yeah, exactly.
I don't
Do you like the
understand.
purple orbs,
I,
Wolfpaq?
I don't know. I don't understand why they did it. I don't like or dislike them. I just don't know what they're going for with that. I mean, do they really need to be faster like regular riffs? I
No,
don't know.
they don't. But
So yeah, I don't know.
I like it. I like it, and I want them again. I wish they kept going forever. I
mm,
just like that there's some sign you have that a boss is dead. I mean, obviously you get the little text pop up.
yeah,
But so often on crowded screens, you lose track of where the boss or the champions were,
That's
and you're
true.
like, did I kill him? Did he go off the edge of the screen? What happened? But you see a little purple orb, you're like, oh goody, there he was. Like it's a progress sign.
yeah. I
But then you don't really need them, and then they stop once you get the guardian anyway. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's like the most pointless thing ever finding these purple orbs that once the boss has already spawned.
I do like
but
not having health potions anymore.
did you even notice the difference though? I mean, because I'm sure we've all been using legendary potions for ever.
I
So
do, but I'm kind of OCD, and so I pick everything up.
You can't help but pick health potions up
well, you can't not pick up.
No, I know, but that's the thing. Like, even if I see someone drop a health potion,
in town.
like in town
Again,
Yeah.
or in a rift, I will.
I can drop 1,200 of them for you if you'd like.
I have 5,000 in my stash right now.
Oh my God, you saved them.
I save them and sell them
If someday
at
someday they'll
5,000.
be like, yeah, someday they'll be like, yeah, what do you have, like 500 million gold in your account? I mean, come on.
Yeah, in seasons I'm at almost a bill, but
No,
And
you know what?
maybe someday they'll convert to blood shards, and you'll be waiting, like, haha.
No, I do the same thing because it's one extra trip to go to a vendor or to either drag them manually out of your inventory onto the ground where you will purposefully
Pick them up
pick them
again.
up later, or you have to go to a vendor and sell them. And
exactly. And it's only
or
one spot in your
yeah,
stash, and now that they stack to 5,000, it's not a big deal.
right.
But
but you know it's there.
Exactly. And I
Well, when you get a gym hoarder and you have to go over and sell your flawless squares, you can sell your potions too.
exactly.
Fix that goddamn bug, please.
Yes, please fix that. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. I like what they've done with crafting. I don't have to.
With gym upgrading, you mean one click and you're
Yeah,
done?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. With that gem crafting, I don't
that's
have to
great.
stand there with Mr. Chow just waiting for him to hammer out a gem for me. I like being able to just boom, done.
Yeah, went from 80 seconds to 8 seconds to craft a flawless royal.
Exactly.
Pretty
I have
awesome.
one funny thing about the potions. You know how there's the Alchemist brother quest in Act One where he drops a potion when you finish it.
Yeah.
Yes,
What are the odds that Blizzard forgets to take that out?
there
They'll
probably
forget to
will.
fix that one quest, and then forever after that'll be the only potion left in the game. It'll be like when you find an adventurer's journal now.
Yep,
It's like a relic of ages past.
they probably will forget to fix that.
Of course, now Wyatt's heard this and said, "Ha, I'll make a note about it, and now we'll fix that." Maybe he'll skip this podcast.
Did you
But that'll be awesome if they forgot to fix that one thing. That's the one potion left. So what's that guy gonna do now? Because that's like the ultimately insulting, obnoxious thing he
He'll
does, where he
probably
drops you
drop
that
like
one
two
potion.
gold for you.
yeah, you have
No,
to pick
he'll,
up
he'll drop
manually.
1 gold because that's how much a potion is when you sell it.
He'll take 1 gold and he'll double it. So
There you go.
he'll drop you a used condom or something. It's like, here you go.
In vanilla, did you ever sell potions? Like
Yeah,
very, very beginning? Because I made a lot of gold just hoarding potions and selling them in general chat.
yeah, I did that.
My God, in general chat, I would sell them in the game. Of course, the fun in vanilla is you would always forget to put the new kind of potion into the slot, and then you try stabbing the potion button in combat, and you didn't have any potions
No, no,
available.
no, to other players. Like
Yeah, I don't care about other
in the
players.
in the trade window, like the actual use of the Diablo 3 trade window was the only time I ever used it was to sell potions.
I
I
remember
was never
I
out of
remember
potions. I don't think
selling
it was a problem.
items to people and trading gold for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was what the auction house was for, though, dude.
Yeah, but see, then you had to go on the general chat, right? And then that's where people were like bartering, and it was like the black market of
Oh
the
yeah,
age.
for UnID'd
For unID'd
legendaries.
stuff or even ID'd stuff, they'd be like, "Hey, I've got a 6 CC mempo, blah blah blah. I'll take this much gold for it," and you just join their party and you trade them, and all is
Oh,
fine with the world.
I never did that. Sounds
I
You
pretty
could throw
awesome.
in some potions for a bonus.
So, but yeah, I don't like the fact that they moved Keywarden, Act 4 Keywarden.
Well, now isn't it kind of even though? I mean, he was in the smallest area by far of any keyword.
Yeah, now he's in Garden of Hopes, and that lags me out personally when I'm in that map, and that map just sucks.
Yeah, it's big and well. Is it not fair though? I mean, he was the easiest one to find by far,
Yeah, that was a trade-off for having to
but you liked it
freaking
being
run
easy.
through Fields of Misery for 45 minutes looking for what's his face.
With a 25% drop chance.
Yeah,
Or 50,
Yeah, yeah,
but who's counting?
yeah, yeah. Key farming sucks, dude.
I mean,
I do like to have a little icon on the map though, when next to it
yes,
now.
I'm
I mean,
excited. I'm
I
excited about
obviously
that.
that does no good because we already knew where it was, but it's kind of cute.
Or like
What do
Rift
you guys think of
Guardians.
the small rifts?
I uh,
I mean, it'll never matter again after this because we'll all just end it when the Guardian dies. We're only doing them now on the PTR because the 2,000% drop rates. You just kind of keep going because the legendaries just go forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we would never notice this if this was on the live server right now. It would be like a week before anybody knew it was changed. Like, the rifts are really small now. Like, what? I end them when the Guardian's dead. How would you ever know that?
I really don't have anything to say about that. I really couldn't care less. As long as there's still enough monsters to kill to get to the Rift Guardian, because we all know that was a problem a while ago.
Yeah, all the ones I've done have worked out pretty
Yeah.
well. Have you noticed the rift worth ringing for you? Okay, Wolfpaq.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had a problem spawning the Guardian. I've definitely still had certain levels where I'm running and running and running, and I'm not seeing any monsters to kill, and that's annoying. But
They're afraid of you because you're so
yeah,
hardcore.
right.
Just as a side point, the when you're doing Act One bounties, the Southern Highlands, whatever it's called, the Southern Hunting
Yeah,
Grounds,
Southern
Leoric
Highlands.
Southern, 150 counter is too damn
It's too
high.
much.
The rent is too damn high, and I was doing split farming on T6 the other day with a guy, and I did that one three games in a row. I had to find the same guy, and it's like You find them, and you're like 112. I'm like running, the entire area's mapped out. I had to go up that. You go up the little curvy path into like that
Yeah.
little goat gauntlet place.
Yeah. The
Like I had to
bridge.
go into that to get to like 150. I'm like 150 is way too high here.
Yeah,
It
I don't know
is.
what they're thinking because the density there's not like Fields of Misery where you, or
Yeah, it's terrible.
or what's it called, the
Cathedral
Hold
level
on.
4.
Or Weeping Hollow or something. Yeah.
Festering Woods. Like you can get 150 there easy, but
In
And the
like one
few
corner, too. Not even...
yeah,
Yeah, there's some places like you hit it like you can never not hit the counter before you find the guy. You know, it's like it's so easy. There'd be 50 and you're at 112 in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Like,
That one's weird.
I hate doing
I don't know what they were
Cathedral.
thinking with that.
Cathedral level 4 because it's the big square map.
right.
Yeah.
And the guy that you have to kill in that, it's always kill him and 75 more. And I said, 75? I'm going to kill 500 by the time I find him.
Yeah, some of them are a little weird how far off there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one I really noticed is that Southern Highlands one. It's just 150 is terrible. And you got to remember that stupid bridge to start with, so it's like 20 seconds before the level even begins.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm like killing all the butterflies at the start because I know I'm gonna be 140 trying to find something, trying to find one more goddamn goat somewhere.
I usually just go into Northern and aggro stuff and make them follow me into the level.
Like you're trying to find the one last tree or something. It's like it's horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I just aggro stuff and I say, hey, come follow me. Follow me into here and then I'll kill you.
I'm wondering if at some point they changed, like maybe they made so scavengers are much less common there, or butterflies or something. You know, they must have had the number set and they did something that made the spawns much smaller. Because you just don't get enough stuff there.
It really
Or it
is
should be
pretty
like-
barren, actually, that map.
Or like Wolfpaq just mentioned the festering woods, because the stuff you kill in the dungeons counts for your counter. So like I'll be at like 100 sometimes, and I'm right by that one on the right, and you just go into that one because it's always like 150 skeletons in there, just packed around a little circle map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can easily finish it up there in 1 second, even if you don't want to run. Maybe if the goat cave counted for the total in the Southern Highlands, it would help. But we've gone way off topic here.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, guys? We've just kind of covered that. Your PTR, you're kind of done with it. It's only, but I mean, we got 2 months or more to wait for season 3. You know, are you gonna? I'm not personally feeling that much. I played the last PTR. I played it like the entire season 1.
Because
I
season 1 was completely and utterly broken. Season 2 is a little
And-
better than season 1.
And I was doing a Demon Hunter. I didn't like the original version of Marauders. I much preferred the patch version, and so I was enjoying playing that on the PTR. And then finally, the last 3 weeks of season 1, that went live, and then I could play it on season 1. So I started playing it again then. But I like the current version of skills. I'm not that dissatisfied with the various options for the character classes
I like the options. On
live. I mean,
I feel bad about Crusader because they didn't get much love this patch.
no one likes Crusaders. No one cares about Crusader. Even Jay Wilson doesn't care about the Crusader.
Well, they have like 2 sets. That's all they have.
Well, apparently Roland's got some buffs in
Roland's
this.
got
in
some
this,
buffs, but
but no one cares.
no one cares.
We'll get Katniss on the show next week. He can tell us why no one cares. I mean, what's good about it? He was actually #1 in the whole world on hardcore, on America's server. He did a 41 like the first weekend.
Wow.
Crusader. He was like #1 in the entire. I mean, of every class, you know. And then now I'm sure Demon Hunters have passed him up and stuff, but that was pretty good. I was impressed by that.
Yeah.
I'm not #1 in the world. I think Wolfpaq is though.
Not yet.
You're #1 in the house. The Chillas all vote for you. They say Wolfpaq, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. Okay. We're going on. This is the Diablo 3 podcast. We are online at diablogamers.com, and we'll be on the PTR, or perhaps not, and have some more stuff, have more podcasts next weekend, and enjoy your testing time, and stock up on your legs before the 2,000% ends, and then you wonder why you didn't get them when you could have. Moo.
Uh...
Moo.